Welcome to the Warrior in Progress podcast. This podcast features honest and vulnerable discussions about how to make lasting mindset shifts. Through these mindset shifts, you'll be able to commit to yourself and stop sabotaging yourself so you can transform your life. I'm your host, Jennifer McKee, certified health coach and motivational speaker. Look, I've been there. I've done that. I've lost over 50% of my body weight naturally. That's 185 pounds. I invite you to subscribe to the Warrior in Progress podcast for motivational, inspirational, and thought-provoking topics where I'll share with you some practical tools that I've learned on my journey so far that will empower you and help you to access that inner warrior that's inside each and every one of us. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Warrior in Progress podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer McKee, and I really just want to say happy 2021. I know that 2020 was a very challenging year for many people, and I hope that this year is better and on a path of continued growth and learning, really just for everybody. And I really wanted to talk about how to really change your life. Now, I did do a podcast episode a few months ago called The Truth About Transformation. And I would very much encourage you to listen to that episode if you haven't. If you've already listened to it, I would encourage you to listen to it again, because it's that time of year, January, where everyone starts making New Year's resolutions. They say, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to get back after, binging and eating horribly in the month of December and maybe even November. I'm ready to get back on the wagon. I'm ready to start eating healthy again. I'm ready to exercise again. Let's go. And there's a lot of motivation at first, right? Usually in January. But then what happens is, the interest and motivation wanes. And before we know it, we are back to our old habits, sitting there in front of the TV at night, eating a pizza, eating ice cream, eating cupcakes, eating cookies, eating whatever. And we are gaining weight, feeling bad about ourselves, feeling shame, feeling guilt, feeling like we're not good enough, feeling like we can't ever reach our goals. And we might even have some anger and frustration and be irritable. Does this sound familiar? Okay, so this is usually what happens to the majority of people every year. And I want to talk about how you can really change your life. Okay. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be January 1st. It can be any day. So if you're listening to this podcast episode, maybe like later in the year and it's not January, this still applies to you, because you can change at any moment. It is up to you. You can change starting right now. Right now. So before I move into my tips about how to really change your life, I want to talk first. I want to give a visualization and ask you some questions about what does the best version of yourself look like? Most of us want to transform and evolve into the best version of ourselves. We might not know what that looks like though. But let me give you some examples and see if this kind of helps you visualize yourself as the best version. Okay, so imagine yourself eating healthy because you want to. Imagine yourself exercising because you want to. Imagine yourself not depriving yourself, but being able to eat healthy, but also allowing yourself to splurge in moderation. Allowing yourself to go to family gatherings, or if you're going out to restaurants or whatever you're doing, and to be able to enjoy the food there and to make healthy choices and not feel deprived. Imagine if you were making time for yourself, if you were putting yourself first, because we can only be the best version of ourselves if we are taking care of ourselves, right? So imagine that you're putting yourself first, making time for yourself, making time to do the things you need to do. Maybe that's healthy grocery shopping or exercising, or maybe it's prepping meals, whatever the case may be. Maybe it's meditating. Maybe it's doing readings in the morning. You're taking time for yourself so that you can be the best mother, best worker, best spouse, best, daughter, whatever it is, you're putting yourself first, okay? Imagine having confidence in what you're wearing and in your body and just how you feel about yourself in general. Imagine radiating a positive energy because you love yourself and you believe that you're worthy and you truly believe it in the core of your body. Even though you're not perfect, even though you're still making mistakes, but you're learning from your mistakes. You're learning from your mistakes and you're working on it. You're growing, you're evolving into this better version of yourself one day at a time. Imagine being able to go out in public and not worry about if people are looking at you or making fun of you or even caring if they are or not. Imagine being able to help other people and to pay it forward and to share the lessons that you've learned so far along this journey of life. Imagine being just so confident that nothing holds you back. If you want to do something, you try it. If you are capable and able, you try it. Imagine setting goals and achieving those goals. Imagine pushing yourself to accomplish things that you never thought that you could. Whether it's a half marathon, a 10K, a triathlon. It doesn't have to be a sports event. It could be anything. Maybe you just want to fit into the seat of a roller coaster again. Maybe you just want to fit into the seat of a plane again. Maybe you just want to not have to use a seatbelt extender in a plane again. Imagine not being stressed by those little things. Imagine about not worrying if a chair is going to break if you sit down in it. Imagine not worrying about what other people think of you. Imagine loving yourself, okay? So these are just some examples. And it's different for everybody, but I hope that I've given you some ideas there about what the best version of yourself would look like. And I probably should say better version of ourselves, because I believe that, we're continually growing every single day, growing and evolving and learning every single day into a better version of ourselves than we were yesterday, as long as we are aware and we are taking action. Okay, so we're aware of the things that are maybe limiting for us. For example, our thoughts or our behaviors. If we're aware of those things and we are then working to change those things, we are evolving into a better version of ourselves. As long as we are making an effort and taking action to learn the lessons that life is teaching us, we are evolving and growing into a better version of ourselves. Okay, so how can you really change this year? How can you work toward becoming a better version of yourself? I'm going to share 4 keys with you. Okay, so the first one is be honest with yourself. Secrets keep us sick. Do you ever find yourself keeping a secret from other people? You have a lot of shame maybe or guilt, and you're like, oh my gosh, if other people knew this about me, they would just shake their head. Maybe you're hoarding and a whole bunch of food, and then you're binging on it. Maybe you're secretly eating food and then you're replacing it, or maybe you're doing that with alcohol. It can be anything. Something where we're keeping a secret. I would encourage you to look at those areas of your life where you're keeping secrets from other people and maybe even from yourself. What are you not being honest about with yourself? Because we can only be honest with other people when we're being honest with ourselves first, right? So the first key, if you want to really change your life, you got to start off with being honest with yourself. Because if you want to learn how to stay in integrity with yourself, which is a huge key to rebuilding your relationship with yourself and your self-love and your self-trust, which I've talked about in prior podcast episodes, you have to be honest with yourself. The second key is accept that you're not going to be perfect. When I coach people, I hear this all of the time. It's that all or nothing thinking, that perfectionistic view of themselves. They feel that they have to be doing everything or they're failing. They got to be exercising 7 days a week. They got to be eating 100% clean. They got to be drinking a gallon of water a day. They have to be loving themselves nonstop every day, or they're failing. And that's simply not true. It's simply not true. You're going to make mistakes. It's okay. It doesn't mean you're not good enough. It doesn't mean you're failing at this. It doesn't mean that you can't reach your goals. Guess what? It means you're human. Welcome to the club, you know? So I would encourage you, and I talked about this in my last podcast episode, but I would encourage you to think about, what does progress look like for you? And is that progress, is it healthy? So if you think you should be losing 10 pounds a week, is that realistic? Is that healthy? Is that a healthy way to lose weight? If you are struggling with negative inner talk, do you believe that you can go from beating yourself up all the time to never beating yourself up overnight? Do you think that might take some time? Remember, progress, not perfection. Progress, not perfection. I really, truly believe that we are being presented with lessons to learn by life, the universe, your higher power, God, whatever you want to call it. We're being presented with situations in our lives that are learning experiences, learning opportunities, but we have a choice whether we learn the lesson or not. We have a choice whether we learn the lesson or not. And when you think about progress, not perfection, think about a house. If I'm building a house, if I start trying to put like the walls in and other things like that, and I haven't I haven't built the foundation, I haven't built the frame of the house, do you think that this house is going to be standing very long? No. In order to build a house that doesn't fall down, what has to happen? You have to build the foundation first. And then you do the framing, right? There's a sequence of events that has to happen. You don't build everything all at once. That's the same with transformation. You cannot do everything all at once. If you try to do everything all at once, your house is going to fall down. Catch me? Catch my drift? Okay? So I think it's important to remember, focus on one thing at a time. Focus on your foundation. What is your foundation when it comes to transformation? In my opinion, it's integrity. Staying in integrity with yourself, which requires you to be honest. It requires you to be honest with yourself, right? So work on building your foundation and then build on that slowly over time, one step at a time. The third key to really changing your life is, I believe you have to be willing to unlearn some things that you thought you knew. Okay, I used to think I knew everything about dieting. I used to think, I know how to lose weight. I know how to lose weight. Nobody has to tell me that. No doctor, nobody on TV. I know how to lose weight. I grew up in the 80s, so I learned calories in, calories out, eat very low calorie and low fat, and maybe even low carb, right? That is what I learned. But guess what? I didn't have the full picture. And I knew that never worked for me personally. I got to the point where I knew it was about a lot more than a diet. I realized that I was going to have to work on my mindset. I was going to have to work on how I talk to myself and how I had this all or nothing perfectionist thinking. I was going to have to work on that too. That's something I hear all the time from people that I coach. And I also used to say this. I used to say, I know what I need to do. I just can't commit to it. And I would get so hung up on that and so stuck on that. I mean, I actually went to see a therapist a couple of months before I actually started making changes, to lose weight and to transform my life. And I told her exactly that. I said, I know what I need to do. I just can't commit to myself. And I'm really angry at myself that I can't commit. I don't understand why I cannot commit to myself for more than like a few weeks. And what I found out was that I didn't know what I needed to do. And that was the whole problem. Because what I was doing was a quick fix. I was depriving myself with food. I was looking for a quick fix. I was putting in about 50% effort versus 100%. And I wasn't seeing the results I wanted to, and I couldn't figure it out. I was not working on my mindset. I was not working on my inner critic. I was not working on showing myself a little bit of love and compassion. So there was a lot of things that I wasn't doing. So it was like, it wasn't about the commitment. I mean, maybe part of it was because I was only 50% committed, but I was committing to something, or trying to commit to something that didn't work anyway. So I told myself, I know what I need to do, I just can't commit, but I did not know what I needed to do. I used to also say things like, I've tried that before. In fact, I've tried everything and nothing works for me. Have you ever said that to yourself? The fact of the matter is, maybe we feel we have tried everything, or maybe we have tried a lot of things, but are we willing to accept or believe that maybe we tried something and didn't give full effort, or maybe we just haven't found the right approach for us yet? Are you sure that you really know? Are you sure that it doesn't work for you? Have you been consistent? Have you been honest with yourself and others? Have you reached out for support when you've struggled? I hear it from a lot of clients. They tell me things like, I am doing everything. I'm tracking my food. I'm drinking water. I'm doing my self-care actions every day. And then upon further questioning with them, I find out that that's actually not true at all. They're only doing those things sometimes. And even then, they're not being 100% honest with themselves about what they are doing. Are you being honest with yourself? It goes back to number one. Consistency is the key, as is support and reaching out for support. Okay, the other thing is, under, willing to unlearn some things that you thought you knew. We have to be open and willing to being teachable and coachable and learning new things. Humbly accepting that we may not know everything, and what does it hurt to try something new or to do what we already know, but doing that consistently and intentionally. Maybe you do know what you need to do, but maybe you're just not doing it consistently or intentionally. I read something the other day, and it said a good coach, a good mentor makes you question your beliefs, thoughts, and actions. And I really loved that. Because I've had that experience where I've had a coach, or I've had a therapist or a mentor who has made me question my beliefs or thoughts and actions. And those are the people that inspired me and even encouraged me to make a different choice, to try something different, and to be consistent and intentional about it. And that's where true growth and change happened for me. The fourth key to how to really change your life this year is believe that you can change no matter your life circumstance. Yeah, that's right. I said that. Believe you can change no matter your life circumstance. Anyone can change. Start where you are with what you have. Period. Start where you are with what you have. I mean, what have you got to lose by believing this? You can sit here and believe that you can't change, or you can make the choice to believe that you can. I understand that some people have more opportunities than others. I understand that sometimes people are down with their luck. Maybe they've lost a job. Maybe they're having health issues or things like that. But I believe in you, and I also believe that there's something that you can be doing despite your current situation. What is that? What could you be doing? Maybe you can be drinking water. Maybe you could be talking to yourself a little bit nicer. Maybe you can be meditating. Maybe you can be journaling. There's a lot of different things that you can be doing. Maybe you can be reaching out for support. Maybe you can be working on challenging your inner critic. There's so many things that you can be doing consistently and intentionally if you truly want to change. The thing about change is that it takes time, it takes patience, it takes consistency. And we need to be intentional about our actions. Transformation and change, in my opinion, is a privilege and a true gift. But it's available to you right now. It's available to you with the right guidance and support. If you've failed in the past, I believe that it was not your fault. I believe you did the best you could at the time with the knowledge you had. You didn't know what you didn't know. You did the best you could, like I said. Are you ready? Are you open, ready, and willing to learn and to try another way that's proven to work? Okay, so here's the call to action. Number 1, I want you to write down what progress means to you. So in order for you to acknowledge and agree that you are making progress with your transformation, what would need to be happening? What would you have to be doing? Okay? Maybe, and I would ask yourself, are those realistic? Are they realistic? If you write down, I'd have to be seeing 10-pound weight loss a week. Is that really realistic? I would have to never be beating myself up. Is that realistic? Progress, not perfection. Remember, small steps. Small steps are progress. Okay? Think about a mountain. Okay, think about a mountain. If you're starting at the bottom of the mountain, is progress to you going to the very top in one step? Or is it just moving a little bit up the mountain in one step and then looking down and seeing how far you've come? What is realistic? What is doable? Because I can tell you one thing, small steps add up to massive transformation over time. So when you're writing down what progress means to you, be aware of all or nothing thinking and unrealistic expectations. The second thing in the call to action, write down what old beliefs, thoughts, actions that are no longer serving you. What old beliefs, thoughts, or actions are you doing that no longer serve you? In other words, that are causing you pain. Maybe they're causing you shame, guilt, sadness, anger. What beliefs, thoughts, and actions are no longer serving you? The third thing for the call to action, I want you to write down 1 to 3 small actions that you can take today to start working toward the transformed person that you want to be and that you deserve to be and that you can be. That's it. 1 to 3 small actions. I know this seems crazy, but that's where it starts. With those 1 to 3 small actions. Start there. Keep building on it. Be consistent. Reach out for support and accountability. Keep adding to those actions. I talk about this in a previous podcast episode. This is how you create healthy habits. You start with 1 to 3 small things. You work on those things. Once they become habits, you add to them or you add new actions to work on. And if you do this over a series of months and years, you're going to have accumulated so many healthy habits. This is going to increase your chances of keeping the weight off and loving yourself and having that confidence that we talked about in the beginning of this podcast episode. Having the confidence, being healthy from the inside out, being able to live your life instead of sitting on the sidelines. It all starts with 1 to 3 small actions. I'm not even kidding you. That's how I started my journey, and that's how I continue to go on my journey, is working on adding or building 1 to 3 things. That's it. I really hope you enjoyed this podcast episode, and I hope everybody has an amazing 2021, and I look forward to chatting with you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening, and I really hope that you enjoyed today's episode. If you enjoyed this episode of the Warrior in Progress podcast, then please share it with your friends, share it with everybody. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast as well so you can get notifications on when I release new episodes. Meanwhile, you can follow me on social media. On Facebook, my handle is fullycommitted13, and on Instagram, my handle is fully_committed13. You can find out more about my work at McKeeHealth.com. That's McKeeHealth.com. And make sure to download my free Tame Your Inner Critic guide at McKeeHealth.com, and you can learn how to stop beating yourself up, how to stop sabotaging yourself so that you can achieve your goals. Remember, you're a warrior in progress, and you can do anything you set your mind to.